Hey everybody, Larry, Fort Worth Memories Museum, all of our groups. It's Tuesday, it's 10 a.m. and it's Hometown Heroes. Rick and Mary have a special guest.
Good morning, Larry.
Good morning.
Mary, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm surviving the summer. So.
Yeah. It's hey, today's supposed to be the hottest day. Then it's going to cool.
109.
Did you hear it's going to cool down? Then we got a gradual cooling, and we get a cold front. Going to only be 98 on Saturday.
Oh, only
Yeah,
now,
cold front coming in Friday night. That's what I said. Perfect for what we got coming up Saturday.
Yeah. Today our special guest is Patricia Mayo.
Yes.
And Trish, or what's your
So when I'm in my costume, it's Pattie Von May.
okay?
Is my
Pattie.
pinup name.
Okay.
I like that.
And you are with the Battlin Betties.
Yes.
And what is a Battlin Betties?
So the Battlin Betties, we are actually in 10 other states. We recently just brought the Battlin Betties to Texas in October, and we're getting the ball rolling. So we basically, our mission is anything involved with veterans and first responders and bringing awareness to the PTSD, setting up events, showing up to events, anything that's involved with that is our mission. If it's just going on Thursday, actually, we're teaming up with 12 from 99% and going and passing out milkshakes at a veterans nursing home.
Okay.
Simple things like that. We're not raising money or doing anything like that. We're just showing up and talking to them. And then we have the big event on Saturday, so that's our big first event. So that's when we're just getting the ball rolling. This is our first
This is like your first event.
that I'm hosting, like putting our name behind it, not just joining on somebody else's.
Okay. And
Tails.
it's going to benefit roll call.
It is. I'm so excited that it's the first one because I think this is really cool.
And we'll put this up. We've got a flyer that talks about it, and we'll put that up. But just tell us where it's going to be, what time, what to expect.
So it's going to be this Saturday from 2 to 5 in Keller. It's 148 and 134 South Main Street. There's two bars that are doing specials for veterans that day. They're right next door to each other. One is called Shot Skis and one is called Ice House. Ice House is doing 50% off wings and some beer specials, and Shot Skis is doing $5 off hamburgers and fries. We also are having, I guess we call it the Roll Call Mobile Museum showing up. That'll be parked outside. I have to get there early and block out the spots, but it will happen. And then we have some classic cars showing up. It's not a car show. I'm not registering anything, so that's why it's just you come, get a parking spot, and enjoy, get it out of the garage for a little bit. And we have some raffles too. We've gotten a record player from a new local record store that opened up in Keller. Actually, I take that back. They are opening up on the 29th. Their grand opening is on the 29th. I'll be posting some stuff on that as well. I think it's a pretty cool record store. It's right in Keller. It's called Country Line Records. They donated a value of a $100 record player. And it's all vinyls and stuff in this store. Yeah. So we got stuff like that. I got Bazooka Charlie's has some products and a gift card to get your haircut. That place was pretty neat. It has like beers and stuff in there for the guys when they get their haircut. They come back all nice. You know what I mean? And then who else? We have one of my girlfriends. I just opened up a boutique last week. She's going to donate a gift bag of some products that we have at our boutique called Simply Eclectic. And just a bunch of random gifts that we're going to be raffling off to raise money for Roll Call.
And there's a lot of neat stuff up there in Keller. That's kind of a nice place.
Keller downtown. I know it's not really big. There, Keller Old Town. There's a little strip of bars and restaurants right there, and it's starting to grow a little bit. Yeah.
And it's open, as she said, it's open to veterans. So I think the key thing to remember there is this isn't just roll call people. The specials are for all veterans. Anybody, I'm sure, can come out, join us, and just have fun, hear stories from veterans.
You can win the raffles too.
Yeah, you don't have to be a roll call member to come to the event. So let's get the community out and let's enjoy a little bit of cool weather and a couple of adult beverages and have some fun.
Yes, and it's called Beers with Betties, so it's kind of like a meet and greet / happy hour we're kind of trying to do just to kind of introduce ourselves to the community and get everybody, and maybe help them get some new members too, because I know I have a father-in-law that I think would benefit of meeting the group, because he's a veteran and he's kind of stuck in his ways a little bit, and I think him getting out and seeing that there's like-minded and people that like to do, you don't always have to go out and do everything all the time. It's just once a month you guys have the big meeting.
Yeah, and we have a group that actually meets at Cafe Republic that does Veterans
On the
Breakfast
s-
Club
yes.
on the first or second Tuesday, one of those.
Yeah.
I know it's at 10 o'clock or 9:30, so Rick and
That's
I can
why
never
we can't
'cause
go, so-
we're already always here. But yeah, there's a lot of different groups that are meeting and a lot of different groups that want to get little get-togethers so that veterans can come together and just talk, because I know one of your passions is PTSD. And the way that we overcome that sometimes, or we learn how to deal with it, is by talking to like-minded people
Yeah.
that know where we've been, what we've done, who
Yeah.
got that T-shirt.
Exactly.
Right.
Walk the walk, got the T-shirt.
Right.
You know, in talking about Keller, and you mentioned car shows, in November of every year, there's the Sergeant Alex Viola Memorial Car Show. And
Okay.
he was a Special Forces Army guy that got killed in action. And his parents are friends of mine, but they have this huge car show. I mean, hundreds of cars. So you need to put that on your calendar
Yeah.
and get
Definitely.
you involved in that. Because
Yes. That's an easy one.
yeah,
Pin-ups and
I mean,
cars.
yeah, it'd really be a cool deal to get involved in.
Yeah.
And I'll give you some information on that
Okay.
too.
Perfect.
But y'all dress kind of in retro, like the 40s pinup girls. or-
Rockabilly-ish, 1940s, 50s, 60s-ish. Whatever they're comfortable in. I'm not going to be like, oh, that girl, that doesn't look good. No, whatever they're comfortable in. We actually are taking in new members as well. You can always check on our website, battlingbetties.org. You can see all the other platoons as well. And that's how you kind of initiate the conversation and getting joined up. I'll have a sign-up table too at the event. But yes, I have a girl that works at the Veterans Hospital that specializes with PTSD. She's one of the Betties. I have a trauma nurse that's involved. I have a Air Force mom or Navy mom. I have a new mom, just everybody, and not everybody's done pinup. This is their first time dressing up in it, and it's different than, what I used to do in the Harley Davidson pinup things, which I still like, but this is more, day-to-day pinup and going out there and just being known and not putting on a show necessarily, but this is like a lifestyle,
Yeah.
And so, yes, if you're interested in
Yeah, on your website, there's a place you can go if you're interested that tells you what the requirements are. I think you have to do a few events a year or so many hours, or
Since
they'd
we're
like for
starting
you to
out,
do
yeah, we have a few, a certain amount of events a year, not major. We all have busy lives, so 3 events a year for right now, and then as we get rolling, but really, I'm not super strict on it. If you're getting out there and wanting to do it, I'm not telling you no, so, but yeah, I mean, and these are not always, it's not every weekend, because we all have stuff to do. I can't personally plan something all the time, but once every couple months do like a big event, focus on those and then see where that goes.
Because I noticed in your pictures that you had been at Hops and Props.
That's how I met
And so,
Roll Call.
Yeah. So I was out there for a while that day. So
We had a table set up, but it was really windy, if you don't remember.
Oh, it was super windy.
The whole thing was a mess.
Yeah.
The tables were flipping over. Everything I had was like paper. I'm like, you know what, just shut it down. There's a beer garden over there, ladies. Let's just go mingle. And
Yeah.
that's how we met a lot of people, actually, and a lot of connections that way.
Yeah, that was a windy day.
it
I'm
was.
surprised the
thought I was
hairspray
gonna
lasted.
Yeah, I thought I was going to get blown away for sure.
So
Yes.
tell us about you.
About me.
You're in Texas.
I'm in
and
Texas.
You were an Army brat.
I am an Army brat.
Okay.
My dad was a full bird colonel in the Army. He was in Dentac, a dentist. That's how I got into dental after
Before you got
college.
into the body work.
Yes, which is crazy, I know.
shops.
Well, it's art, I guess. Art, dental, cars, kind of all goes together, right? But yeah, so my dad was in the Army. I was born in Germany. I have 2 older brothers. One was born in Korea. The other one was born in Kansas City. We traveled around a lot, and then he retired in Fort Riley, Kansas. And then I went off to go to Kansas University, Jayhawks. Woo. So me and my dad are both alumni from there. And then I actually had an art degree, but after college, I kind of still wanted to travel. You move every 3 years of your life. Staying in one place is hard. So believe it or not, every city's hiring a dental assistant. So I would just kind of travel for a while, went to Colorado and Pennsylvania and Atlanta and just kind of figured things out. Long short, met my now ex-husband in Pennsylvania, and he was from Texas. So we came to Texas, and that's how I planted my roots down here. Recently, everybody kind of has their trials and tribulations and rough times in their life. And I had my dark time at one point, and I found my knight in shining armor, or I say knight in black armor, my biker fiance, and his biker community has really been a blessing. And that was the strength in the community that I needed, that brought me up. And they do a lot of charity events. And with my mom, crazy story, she actually was really deep into Red Cross and March of Dimes growing up. I mean, I had to give blood. I couldn't tell you how many times growing up. And she hosted parties and things like that.
Blood-giving parties? I mean, hey.
Well, no, not
we have a
necessarily the
party
same
if we're
thing, but, you know.
We're going to give blood at our party.
Hey, here's
Come
some
to my
sugar,
birthday party.
go through the door. Here's a, yeah, you know, it could happen. But she actually ran with the Olympic torch in the 96 Olympics for being a community hero.
Did she really?
She did.
Very cool.
Yeah. So that was kind of, never thought, because I was one of those rebellious kids. I'm like, I'm not doing anything my parents tell me to do. And then here I am. Never liked to be called Patty, because my grandmother was named Patty. Now I'm a Patty wearing lipstick charity thing, and it's like my mom is just tickled. Because I was like this tomboy that got in trouble, and you know, you kind of get through all that and find your way, and
Finally
then find
evolved, huh?
Yeah, it's kind of funny
Where
when
you're
you
meant to be.
exactly
Yeah.
all the paths
You always
that
get
crossed.
that
And,
right. Everything in your life led you to where
To
you
where
are
we're at.
today, and which is what you're supposed to be
Yeah.
doing, right?
Yep, and with Dad obviously being in the Army, so that's where the veterans and
Yeah.
everything. And I remember Mom one time, I was in middle school, and we did, you know, they have the big 4th of July, obviously, things at like the fairgrounds on base. And I want to say this was Fort Stewart or maybe Fort McClellan. And Mom, her brother actually worked with Pizza Hut and stuff. And it was right when Nickelodeon had the big dinosaur costumes at Pizza Hut. We drove all the way to Mississippi and picked up this dinosaur costume for me, the 11-year-old colonel's daughter, to wear at the 4th of July event. So I'm walking around doing, people are giving me their babies. And I'm like,
Really?
and I'm looking through the neck, you know, one of the big
Yeah.
old costumes, and
You're
like,
like, if
people are
only they
dancing, the
knew.
soldiers are all dancing and stuff, and my mom's going over there like, if they only knew that's the
Little
colonel's
girl.
daughter inside that.
And 11.
At 11 at that. I was really tall at my age, but yeah, that was a little funny side note story about the beginning of doing things for charity.
You talked about that urge to move about every 3 years, and I've noticed that in military families and military children. You know, after they live in a house about 3 years, they're ready to move across town or move.
You've moved
to
the
another
furniture
city
around
or
enough
something.
times that you're like, all right,
Yeah.
let's change the house.
Let's
change the location.
One of our friends, Carrie Otego, with Holidays and Heroes, she's writing a children's book, and she let me get a glimpse of it the other day, because we do a lot of work at the base, and there's with Christmas, and so she's written a story, and I'm not going to tell you all the details, but about these military kids that are worried because how does Santa Claus know they moved? Did you ever worry about that?
I want to say I had this conversation with my dad,
Did you really?
and it was just a simple,
It's-
like, he
it's
just
a
knows.
real deal, huh?
And he's like, we put the sign on the door, and, you know, he knows the location. It was kind of like pre-GPS, obviously, but in my dad's head, he's like, he just knows. The reindeer just know where you're at.
So Carrie, I know Carrie's probably listening. So here's somebody
Yeah.
that's been there. So
And, you know, like, there's no chimney. Where's you don't? It just appears. It's magic. And of course, you know, you're 8 years old. Oh, okay. So my son's 8. I haven't gotten to the why, like, complete. So I haven't had to defend my answers yet. So I'm gonna have to work on that because I know it's
It
coming.
won't
Don't
be
give him
far.
don't give
Yeah.
him a digital device where he can Google it either. 'cause
Yeah,
then- yeah.
take off that speak to text.
where was your favorite place to live growing up?
I liked living in Georgia, actually, just because it was the whole southern. We were right near Savannah, Hinesville, Georgia, Fort Stewart, and I would say I was 8th grade, still in my good innocent times and enjoying, you know, the sceneries and the museums and stuff. And it was just this historic. And Forrest Gump came out right about then. I just watched Forrest Gump with my son, and of course I'm like crying the whole time because I haven't seen it as a mom. It was a whole nother view, and I'm like crying. It was a whole nother view, seriously. But in the background, this little shout out to, I don't know, Ashley Lindell back in middle school. You can see her in the background. We went to middle school together. She has long blonde hair. She's one of the Girl Scouts in the background. So that
Is
was
she
like,
really?
yes. So I'm always like,
I'll be done.
that's Ashley Lindell. I don't even know how I remember that name of all things. I'm really bad at names, but I remember that from middle school.
Wow.
And then Savannah with all their courts and the cathedrals and the trees that cross over, and then Mom, you know, being down there with her charities, and you always had the events outside and stuff. It just, I loved being down in the food. I'm a big foodie, so I love Southern food, so all that. Yeah.
Do you keep up with many of the kids that you grew up with around the world?
Well, we didn't
or-
have Facebook, so I mean, I think I found one that was from Hinesville. That was the first time we ever lived off base. I remember that. We got a one-story house. It was the first time living off base on a golf course. We got a golf cart. That was like bad. Don't give your middle schoolers golf carts on the golf course and let them use them like cars. It's not a good idea. Yeah, but we would drive around the neighborhood, and I found her, and we've kind of contacted. Yeah, it's kind of crazy that because as a military kid, you grab a few here and there as you go around, which is nice because then you see them do their thing. So there is a double-edged sword or a positive negative of being a military brat. You get to travel the world and meet tons of people and try new things, but you don't have the childhood friends like everybody
have
else
those
does.
relationships. That,
Every time you move, you have to break back into a group.
was it sad whenever you had to leave sometime?
Of course you're
or-
sad, but you know, look, but you're easily adaptable too. You know, you get there and you have to. Your mom, get in that classroom.
Yeah. Well, you learn
Get on that bus.
Yeah, you learn adaptability and resiliency and some other
Oh,
skills
yeah.
that a lot of young people never really get. And
Yes.
when you do hit hard times, then those things come into play. You know, because you have more tools in your toolbox.
Yes, and even doing this is crazy thing. My best friend does New Year's Eve parties and always has a theme. So it was 1950s, about 2-3 years ago. That was really the first time I dressed up. Like, I've always wanted to do it, but I didn't know how to do my hair. I barely wore
Yeah,
lipstick.
Yeah, I'm like you.
I just learned to
had
paint
to-
my
I had to
eyebrows on
get-
about 3 years ago.
I had to take my daughters to Mary Kay or Merle Norman or something.
Glamour shots.
To learn how to put makeup on because Mom does eyeliner and mascara, and when I wear other makeup, I have to. Still today, I'm 63. I gotta look and try to figure out how am I supposed to put this on because I don't
It's the
wear
same
it.
thing.
You have to watch YouTube.
Yeah, I do.
I do.
I have to.
Even today, I still have to put the video on to do their victory rolls. Because I'm like, what am I doing wrong?
I
Till
can tell you that on hair, YouTube hadn't helped me because I've done stuff to try to learn to braid my hair, and I can't do it.
You know, somebody told me if you lay on your bed, back and put your hands, because my hands get tired, lay on your back and braid your hair like that, and then your hands don't get tired.
I still have never learned how to.
I don't
braid.
know if it will look pretty,
I
but my
still can't
hands
braid
won't be
hair. I don't
tired.
know what to tell you.
I can do other people, just not myself. But back to the confidence thing and being adaptable, like being the pinup stuff, that was all new. Wearing dresses and being girly and having people look at you and kind of judge and stuff. It was one of my friends also that said, hey, there's a pinup competition at Harley, you should do it. I was like, you know what, I'm 40. I'm gonna do it. Went up there and got best in show. I always have to do this when I say it, best in show.
Did you really? Huh?
Yes, and then it was like they invite you to all these other ones, and then it just kind of snowballed. And then my mom's calling me and like, oh my gosh, there's Pattie and you're wearing lipstick. It was crazy. And yes, and then there's now the Battlin Betties and the charities. It's just crazy how one door closes, another one opens. You know, kind of hate being cliche, but it does happen like that, and
Yeah.
especially if you keep your chin up. And I always say, like, for me, keeping busy is best for me because I do have my own emotional things that I deal with, but keeping busy is the best thing for me, and keeping positive and connecting and communicating and networking has been the biggest thing too. You know, like, hello, you're a photographer, I need a photographer. Hello. You know, it's all about that. But yeah, and then I appreciate that you guys reached out for even having the interview and, you know, and going to roll call and all these opportunities open.
It's amazing about the circles, you know, just
Yeah,
like
it is.
with Sideshow and 12, you know.
Sideshow and 12, yeah. And I know that from my fiance who's deep in the motorcycle
Yeah.
community, and they've known each other. And then it's like, I used to go on and watch my fiance do interviews, and I'm like, You have to wait in the hallway now. It's my turn.
That's
Because I think
right.
y'all went to the Ocho Awards too.
Yes, we
so
did the Ocho Awards.
That's
Passed out the awards.
that's a different kind of.
That's my
I mean,
people.
for me, a non-motorcycle guy, you know, to go to a party like that,
Oh, I know.
it was fun.
It is.
You know?
It is. There are
Yeah.
some good people there. I tell you what, those are some caring people, and they do a lot of good
They
work
do a
in the
lot of
community.
good things for the
They
community.
do.
I think that's true of a lot of motorcycle groups. You know, my brother Tony, he's 5 years younger than me, and I came back from a deployment in 2017. And within a month of the time I came back from that deployment, he had gotten with a girl that was much younger, and he had a couple of kids, and his youngest was 3.5 years old, and they were in Florida, and he accidentally hit him with the car and killed him. And my brother was a real mess. I mean, like I'm flying to, they were in Florida at the time, and I'm on a plane going to Florida. And, you know, everything was just such a mess. And he got in with a biker group in Chicago because he lives in about an hour outside of Chicago. And he got with a biker group there that just really wrapped their arms around. I mean, he was like, I mean, as you could imagine, today it's still hard for him, but you can just imagine what he's going through. But that group, that Chicago, I can't remember the name of them, but that biker group has been really important in his life because they really
They
wrap
just
their arms
accept
around
you for
him.
everything in a way,
Right.
like because the way they've all been at some point been there in their
Yeah.
own way, been down, been dark, or had their struggles, or have had somebody that's I mean, not all of them. Maybe somebody's just a Rolex rider, we call them.
Right.
But you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying. But they're all there, and they don't judge. And I think that's what happened with me. Is like I wasn't judged when I was there, and I didn't feel like I had to put up a front to be their friend.
You be
and
who
stuff.
you are.
You can be who you are,
Yeah.
definitely. And that I think that's what's important. And same
Right.
thing with I think the veterans groups and stuff. Like I saw, like they're all bringing each other in. It's the same thing. We've been there, you know. Open arms, come on in. We've been there, you know. It's
Yeah.
the same kind of thing.
And they really reach out to their community to help people through stuff, just like the Ocho Awards. You know, that was for somebody that died.
Yes.
You know, and so they have this awards, and you know, remember him. But you know, my involvement with Freedom Mobility Foundation, we provide for veterans and first responders equipment for, you know, amputees or paraplegics and stuff. And you know, I've talked to Sideshow on 12 before, and to General Pottinger, because General Pottinger's been on the 99% show too, about, you know, there's a lot of motorcycle guys that you know are amputees or paraplegics, and you know, we just need to start trying to get some of these motorcycle clubs to start working to help raise the funds to purchase some of these adaptive vehicles or whatever, so these people can have a better life. Because I know at Adaptive Training Foundation, I think it's over in Carrollton, they do a lot with amputees and paraplegics. And a lot of those people, you know, not a lot of them, but a lot of them service connected, but there's a lot of them that lost their limbs in motorcycle accidents.
We've got, I'm sure there's more. I know there's one in our club, young guy, lost, I want to say above the knee. And then one of my good friends, even outside of the motorcycle club, they're in different ones. That's the other thing, is like we're in different clubs, but we're still friends, and it's not like, you know, it's a whole nother story. But he was in a terrible motorcycle accident. He was with his father, and they were splitting off, you know, and dad was going his way, and son was going to go have dinner with his wife. And it was one of those 2 lanes, and then you cross over. Well, somebody didn't see, I can't remember exactly how the scenario was, but he was not at fault. And I mean, the distance that he flew, lost his leg immediately on sight and all this. And it's like, even though they weren't in the same clubs, like other people were like, hey man, I've lost my leg. And they were reaching out like, you know, you can get back on that bike if you want to. And this, you know, here's the process to get your prosthetic. Like how people just come together, even if it's not the same club, you know.
Some of those guys, they're back on their bike. You know, they might have those tracks or those with the wheels in the front,
Yeah.
but
Oh, yeah,
they're
you can
back
still,
out there.
You can still
yeah.
shift if they put that ankle in lock.
But there's just so many things like that where, we could come together to try to help the
Yeah.
clubs there.
Yeah. There's a lot of vets and first responders that
Because
are in those clubs.
you know, a lot of times sometimes the general public thinks about the motorcycle clubs as being the bad guys
Negative.
like
Right.
Hell's Angels or something, but like the 99%
This is why it's
show,
99%.
99% of motorcycle riders are law-abiding citizens. So
Yep.
it's the other 1% that give them the bad.
Right.
Right. Which
Bad
is pretty
rap,
much
so.
true about everything.
Anything,
in
yeah.
Lawyers and
country,
everything
really,
else.
right?
There's
Yeah.
always that
Yeah.
1%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
So
Just how you deal with them and how you stay away.
what are your events that you have planned coming up besides
Oh.
the one on the 22nd?
Well, I have some ideas. I can only
Okay.
put so much in this victory roll brain of mine at one time, but I have some ideas. And you were talking about vets and stuff, and we have a bunch of girls that love animals, and we were talking about service dogs. Like, I know that's probably really expensive for veterans to get service dogs.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, and I know you guys are probably. This is where I can communicate with you guys. You can help me with the knowledge in this part. I can help get them together and kind of put the events together, but the knowledge that you guys have, and same thing with Bethany, who's been helping me.
Because a lot of those service dog providers and different organizations, you know, they go out and there's other organizations just like Light Up to Live that we
Right.
were with. They sponsor a service dog, you know, and they're some of them cost $30,000 or so
Right.
to
So,
get
like-
them trained and everything.
That's
But
Yeah.
there's a lot of organizations, and I looked on your national website. There's a lot of those dog organizations for those service dogs that y'all work with, and I would just encourage you to find those groups like Light Up to Live
yeah.
and get involved with them and start networking with them so you can learn how to get involved in the Air Power Foundation. They've got some service dog things that they support. So
That's why these podcasts are great, because we're just getting our name kind of out there. Like, we've been to Hops and Props, we weren't featured, so we were just a booth there, and like Ocho Awards, we were just there. But now we're getting out there, and people, if you have an organization out there that you want some help with, and it's veteran and first responders PTSD, something like that, reach out to us. I'm be more than interested to entertain the idea of doing something for them. I like event planning, and this is thank you, Mama Deborah Johnson. This is all her. I remember I can go on to that. She was completely like the entertainer. It was like parties all the time, so I definitely got that from her. So I love this. Is fun for me. I enjoy doing this, and I don't get any profit personally. I put stuff out of my pocket to help sometimes, but I don't take any money from this. I don't get paid to do this. This is strictly just something fun to do and getting people together. That's why I like doing it.
I guess if we look back, I didn't study the history about the Battling Betties or how it all
Well, don't give me the
originated.
hard
But
history question.
back during World War II, there was a lot of pinups. I guess
Right.
Betty Grable, is that where Betty came from? I don't know.
Betty Page, maybe.
Betty somebody.
Question.
But I can always, whenever I think about pinups and then the pictures that those
The bomb-
pilots would
bombers and
have
stuff.
on the planes, and then I think
Right.
about,
Good one. Yeah.
Mr. Goodwin. He had that
Pete
one,
Goodwin.
Naughty Nancy. And he had that jacket with Naughty Nancy, and Naughty Nancy was kind of
She was definitely not. I
Naughty.
used to always tell.
R-rated pictures.
I used to always tell him. I'd say, Pete, it's only you World War II guys can get away with that, because we've got several pictures of his jacket. And right after he passed, he was 103
Yeah.
when he passed. He had
The
just
first meeting, his daughter came back, and his
Yep,
chair,
yep.
she hung his jacket
She
there.
put his
so.
jacket on his chair. Even the first couple luncheons, she
Yeah.
put his jacket. It was still
I
cold
like that.
because he turned 103 in November, and I think he passed
Passed
like
away in
February,
January.
February, something like that. But so the first couple luncheons after that, she still comes today. But she put his jacket on his normal chair, and so we all could remember.
I saw a picture of him the other day. I was going through some pictures and thought,
He was
we
precious.
haven't seen that jacket on the chair in a long time.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
she needs to bring that jacket and
I always
hang
like
it
when you
back.
see where they save a spot. I always like that. I do that for my stepdad every once in a while. Well, not every once in a while, but on his birthday, he had a certain drink, and I'll have one with him, and it'll sit there until he's,
But
I'm done.
the Battling Betties, those were the pinup girls, and now y'all are
Bringing it
the
back.
the pinup girls. So
Yes. Yeah, and I know there's other girls out there that dress in the pinup and stuff, and they do their charities and stuff as well. To my knowledge, I could totally be wrong. In the area were the ones that I've seen that are focusing strictly on the veterans and first responders and, like I said, PTSD. But again, it's just bringing people out. I mean, dress up, yes. If you don't know how to, we'll help you. I mean, nobody starts out as an expert.
Yeah, we have a couple of roll call members that are not
Yeah.
veterans, and they don't come with veterans, but they come every single luncheon dressed in their
Yeah.
40s
saw
outfits.
Allison and Jamie.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
and the guys, I mean, they just love it when Liberty and Faith come and they're dressed in the 40s. That it's nostalgic for them. So that 40s, 50s, it's real nostalgia for them, and they really
Whole
enjoy.
different time.
Yeah, and they love it, and it's just so special for them to have folks just come to the lunch just because they
Yes.
want to be there and they want to give them some joy today,
Yeah.
and that's just really
And
neat.
like Allison and Jamie,
Yeah.
they've got an organization where the women over in Dallas, it's these women. There's some men too that dress, in the retro clothes like that.
There's
so
a few. Now that I've gotten engulfed in it, there's a lot of that rockabilly community out there, and I love it. Like
Yeah.
all the little car shows and stuff. It's pretty neat to see what's
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah,
Once
I'm
you kind
thinking
of get
Jessica
into it.
Gross needs to join them for sure.
yeah, she did
Yeah.
that pin up for the veterans deal,
Yeah.
like Carol Lynn.
Yeah.
So they did. They have a veterans pin up.
Well, that was
calendar,
another event
so-
I have all the rules and stuff I need to do on is a pinup show eventually. Wait till it's not so hot.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't melt off your eyelashes, but have a pinup competition is definitely something in the works as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a
that's
good way to
cool.
recruit and get people out there and show them
Oh,
that it's
that
not
could
just
be a good
certain...
benefit too. You could
Yeah.
run it as a benefit.
Well, totally.
so.
Well, yes, most of my stuff will be in benefit of somebody. Yeah.
And so you're the president of the
Yes.
Texas chapter
Yes.
of the Battling Betties. So I guess the whole state is open
Right
for
now
you.
it is. Right now it is until we get more girls and say we get a few down in Houston or something. Then I'll split off and let them have something because we're not commuting, driving back and forth to that. So yeah, eventually if we start getting the girls out there, yeah, we can split off.
I noticed that one of the chapters in Utah said it was a non-profit. Is the Battling Betties set up as a non-profit?
So it's per
or-
state. Per
Okay.
state, it does. So right now, since we just got started, and I don't have the extra funds to do every, we don't have funds
All the-
coming in yet.
yeah.
So we're just a charity. What do they call it?
Just kind of work with non-profit
Yes, because
stuff.
that's how I get roll call. I don't take the money that day. Everything goes. So we don't have a bank account for our chapter. But like Utah and I think Oklahoma, they are 501(c)(3)s. They can take their own monies and do things. So it depends on the level
Yeah.
of what you want and your commitment and
So
stuff.
all we need to do is help you figure out how to do all that. And
Yeah.
it's not all that hard.
Right.
So we've been there, done that,
Yes.
got that T-shirt.
True enough, I've heard. Yes, that's how kind of where we're at. And now that I'm seeing the positive vibes and stuff and input and everybody coming out, I mean, definitely we can go a lot of places with this.
Yeah, and
that's
there's a lot more events. I mean, to go to than anybody would ever want to go to.
Yeah,
'cause-
Texas is an incredibly military-friendly state, and DFW more so than probably anywhere else in Texas. But if you're going to be able to knock it out of the ballpark anywhere, it's going to be in Texas because that's just the way
Yes.
that we roll here.
Yes.
So you got
Get
to
red, white, and bougie here in
Yeah,
Texas.
we can help you figure out all
Oh,
that.
there's yeah. My mind's spinning now
Yeah.
thinking about well,
Right?
There's
You know?
so much opportunity. There's
we
just
could
so
we
much
could probably
there.
get them in as volunteers for the Sky Ball to work the VIP area or something.
Yep,
You know,
yep,
so
yep,
so
yep. Well, but that's so as we talked about a lot of times on what we do here on Hometown Heroes is to really connect the community with the people that are out that can help them with the different things, and to help the organizations as well. So it's really both sides helping each other, and the reality is that the networking piece is okay. So I want to make this work. I need to talk to somebody who knows how to make this work or knows how to connect me with people who can, and there's a plethora of organizations that I could see the Battlin Betties coming out to, and just really being there to be a part of their whatever they got going on, and just you can join forces.
Yep. Get that extra little something to the event too.
And it only costs about $500 to get a 501c3.
Yes,
so
it does.
It's not that hard to pull it off. But
Do an
it's
event
really
for
about
it,
networking with the right groups of people, and there's a bunch of them here.
There is.
Yeah.
I've done some events in the past that weren't necessarily they weren't with the Betties and they weren't towards veterans and stuff, but you can tell the difference when you put veterans and first responders on something, that it's like it just trickles out, which is crazy. I mean, that's what I'm saying, like it is just snowballed since we started, and the girls getting out there, and especially the girls that we have, with them being all walks of life, and just it blows my mind.
A bigger boat.
Yep. Yes.
And from the pictures I saw, it looks like you'll have a lot of fun.
We do. Well, I don't know how not to, really. And that's what it's about. We all have stressful lives and things that, this is not supposed to be a stressful thing. I'm not going to be like, where are the aprons and buttons that we were supposed to do? Where's the ribbons? Where's the flag? I'm not doing that. Like,
just go.
Here's a list of things you can contribute. If you can't, we'll figure it out. Show up.
Just let
Can
it
you make
happen.
Yeah.
And how did you make the connection with the roll call?
With Bethany.
Okay.
Met her in the back of the plane. And then we just started chatting on Facebook, and we kind of have the same personality a little bit.
Uh-oh.
And I
wish you hadn't told me that.
Yeah.
Well, I love Bethany. I mean, Bethany has got my heart. She and her organization they just loved and cared for
You just
my
went through.
father-in-law.
You
and
went through
hospice care,
a deal with your father-in-law, and used their company.
Yeah, use Alpha Omega Hospice because I knew Bethany. So because I knew Bethany and had a relationship, I said we're going to go with the hospice she's worked for as long as I've known her.
Right.
And they were fabulous. I can't even ever say enough about Alpha Omega. They just
It takes a certain heart
to
do something.
It's like they can I don't know how they do it. I don't know if it's intentional or it's just a God thing or what, but the nurse that my father-in-law had, Mariah, was exactly the one he needed, because when he would give her shit, she'd give him shit right back. I mean, it was like
I love that.
It was perfect. It was such a great relationship. And when he passed, she was there with us from the time she pronounced him to the time that they took him away, and she made all the calls and she did everything for us. Wow. And it was wonderful. It was absolutely incredible. But there's so many connections. So I really don't think that things happen on accident.
We just did 3 in just the 2 sentences you did, me, her, Beth.
Yeah, there's not accidents. There was a reason that each group is getting to know the other, is because we can all work together. It's not a competition.
Yes.
And that's what I think happens so often in organizations, is that you become competitive as opposed to
especially when you're
understanding what it is that you're here to do. And we're not here to compete with each other.
Straighten the crowns.
We're here to help each other achieve whatever the mission of that event or that.
So much easier and more fun. I don't have it in my head to keep stressed like that. Like, hold grudges and it's not in me. Like,
I think it would be a lot better in the nonprofit world if some of the, there's most of the nonprofits have people that start them, that's sincere, and that, just like you said, they're in it for the people.
Right.
But then I see some where the founders got this ego, and it's not about the people who are helping. It's about the founder and their
Right.
ego. And you think, you know,
And I think we have Kevin Bolt.
Have to have a
and
balance.
Hopefully someday we'll get Kevin to actually come on here. I know that he's got a lot of stuff going on. But for anybody that has ever read the history of roll call, this man, Kevin Bolt, Air Force veteran, started this organization with just the vision of taking World War II veterans to lunch so that they could talk to each other.
Right. Simple
And so
little
then
idea.
15, the very first lunch, 15 World War II veterans, most of whom are gone. We still have a couple of them here from that original 15. But his vision was to do that, and he grew it, and then at some point in I think it was 2016, he stepped away and turned it over to some other folks. In 2017 is when I joined, but I did not meet him until 2021 maybe.
yeah, he didn't come back. I mean,
No, he
was-
didn't come back for a long time. And when in the first few conversations I had with him, we were sitting at a lunch one day, and we got 400 to 500 people at a lunch. And he's looking around the room, and I said, look at your vision. Look at what because it was never about him. It was
Right.
about the veteran. I said,
Yep.
look at this is your vision. Because he's like, I can't believe what you guys have done with this. And I said, but it's your vision. Just look around this room. And this was your vision that got brought to life. And all we're doing is being good caretakers of it and continuing to
Do it. Yeah.
do what you envisioned this doing. And it's just been so great. I hope someday we can get him on here so people
Yeah.
can actually
Yeah.
thank him, because we've got almost 1,500 people on our
I know when
roster.
you guys told me the numbers the other day, I'm going, huh? Like, that's insane.
it's grown a lot. And you
has.
see somebody like Kevin that had that vision,
Right.
and you think those guys are lucky to be able to look and see what that thought, that idea, that action they took turned into.
Yeah, and in just the last month, I've had 3 or 4 different organizations, churches, different things reach out to me and say, "Hey, I keep trying to put together some kind of a veteran gathering, like a breakfast or a lunch or a coffee or whatever, and I'm just running into walls and I don't know what to do."
Just-
Well, that's where I can come in.
Just do it.
Can
Just
I
do
meet
it.
with you and find out how to do this? And I'm like, yeah, you can. It's pretty, it really is just a matter of you just got to do it. But
It is, yeah.
But I've set up meetings with the people, and I'll go visit with them.
Yeah.
And tell them how we do it and what we do and how it started, and maybe give them some pointers. And even one place asked us if we had a member that lived in their area that might want to take it on and kind of help them run it. And I
Yeah.
had 4 or 5 people just like that
Boom.
that said, yeah, I want to
It's always
do
no until you ask.
it. Right.
Really.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
mean, you don't know until. That's the other thing is like I have some people that are kind of scared to go out there and ask for donations. Like, it's always no unless you ask.
Yeah.
The worst they can say is no.
Right.
But the more you do it, the more you get comfortable, and it's just like it goes back to the networking thing we keep talking about. Just getting comfortable talking to people. Hey, I might know a hairdresser that I might get a donation from her. Little things like that. Or like had lunch at the Ice House, started chatting with the owner. That's how he's helped me with a few charity events. It's just getting out there a little bit, and people that don't have that, I think that's where I would like to help too. If you want to do an event and you have an idea, I'll help you run with it. I like I said, I love doing this stuff, so we can think of a title. I have graphic design background. I'll do a logo for you.
Here's your person right here. If you're out there,
That's it.
See, I've always, it's kind of like I didn't know I had such a passion with it, with being, when I was little, with, the events that my mom did, and then going into art and graphic design. I always wanted to design stuff, and then now you're taking all this kind of meshing it together in a way.
you've blossomed in life.
It took me 40 years. I'll be 41 on Sunday.
Oh,
We'll have to have a birthday drink or
I will be there. You know where I'll be.
I'll be there too.
Yes, so
Yep,
it's,
I'll be there too.
but it's fun though. It's just, and that's what I want other women too to feel if they want to join the Betties. It's just, this is what it's about. It's just also boosting your confidence too, because it does. I get really nervous still when I get in this stuff. Not gonna lie, getting gas on a Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock, and this is a little nerve wracking.
Yeah, everybody looking at
Especially
you.
when you're in the construction district and you're like, you
What's
know what I
that?
mean? So it's a little odd, but I like it. And even on stage, like I'll be up there, and I admit sometimes I can't snap out of it. My knees are shaking, and I'm like, duh, 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 duh. But I do it to push myself in a way and see what my limits are. And even if my limit is that, it's still a positive limit.
Do you have an email where people can contact you, or
Yes.
a website,
It's
or
Battling
I guess
Betties
Facebook page, too.
Facebook. We're Battling Betties DFW Texas, and then Battling Betties DFW at gmail.com.
Okay, and that's
And then-
that's battling, BATTLIN.
IN.
Yeah,
Yes.
don't put a G on it.
No G. Battling.
You'll go to the wrong club.
You might.
Yeah,
You
we
might.
don't
It
wanna
might be
know
a fight
what you
club
go
or
to.
something.
Right.
That's an event boxing match.
So
Yeah.
tell us
kidding.
tell us that email again.
So it's Battling Betties DFW at gmail.com.
Okay.
Or you can find us on Facebook, Battling Betties DFW TX.
Okay. And then your website for the national
For the national one, it's
Yes.
battlingbetties.org.
without a G on battling. So.
Yes. Yes, no G.
And just kind of go through some of the requirements again on the people that might want to join.
Really,
you.
as far as like, it's not like an interview resume. Like, I don't have like criteria that you have to have. Like, you don't have to be in the military. You didn't have to serve. You didn't have to be a military brat. You can just, it's just the passion for it and your commitment, and that you understand that when we go out, you're dressing a certain way and not a certain way. It's, a
Right.
little risky where we
Yeah.
don't want to be.
Think 40s, 50s.
Yes. Now,
Right,
sometimes, we have different body types, and I get that you have to wear certain things because, that's what fits. You
Right,
know what I mean?
right.
Like, you get what I'm saying, girl. but, but that happened. But it's not, that's all I require. And then just dedication. Like, when we have, we don't even have like meetings because we're all dispensed across DFW, and trying to get all my girls to drive an hour just to have like an hour meeting is, so we'll do like Zoom meetings to plan events. Like I said, we're just starting with this big one. Maybe require about 3 events to 4 events right now until we get going. And then the commitment and stuff will kind of dispense. The more we have more people, the more roles I have that I can put out. Like, I just got my VP elected, so once we start getting more serious roles, I'll start kind of giving people like treasurer and secretary, and we can start organizing a little better. I get that all
Did y'all
from my...
just start in October or something
just
like
in
that?
October.
Okay.
And I use my motorcycle club kind of brain to kind of how I organize things. So it kind of works because it's the same thing. And like, you need to put roles with people, but it's not a seniority thing. Like, I don't walk around like I'm the president of the Betties. Like, listen to me. You didn't wear the right outfit. Those shoes don't match that skirt. That is not happening here. This is supposed to be fun. You come in that outfit, you feel good in it, girl, rock it. And just let's raise some money for the veterans and just have fun. That's all it's about. So there's not really a lot of requirements. It's
Okay.
just have the same mission that we do.
Very cool.
That's good.
Yeah.
And that's this Saturday.
This Saturday, the 22nd,
Okay.
in Keller, Texas. It's called Beers and Betties. It's at 148 and 134 North Main Street, South Main Street, sorry. It's called the Old Town Ice House, and they're right next door to Shot Skis. Like, they are literally right next door to each other. There's a little drive that you're going to turn into. You'll see the Roll Call Museum parked out there. Find a spot to park your classic car or bike if you got one. You can go from both places. There's beers and drink specials at both places and raffles. Come out and spend some money
Yeah,
and have a
it's-
drink with us.
And we'll-
And it's
put
on
the-
Roll Call Facebook page
Yes.
Yeah,
already.
we'll put that on Hometown Heroes.
Yeah.
If it's not already on there, we'll post it again.
Please, yes.
And that'll be a good way to spend a Saturday.
Yep.
Yeah.
2 to 5. I know it's hot, but well, wait, we have the cold front
We
coming in.
got a cold front coming. It's only going to be
Yeah.
in the mid 90s.
And
Yeah.
ladies and men, you guys dress up too if you want to. Dress for your vets is what I'm saying. Get you a poodle skirt. I know
Yeah, I could wear my army uniform, but I
If
got
you
it out.
want
I got
to.
it out not long ago,
if you want to,
and
it's hot
only
out,
my
though.
socks are the only thing that still fit. So
Well, listen, we don't want you coming
Just
only
put
in
those
your
with some
socks.
sandals, you'll be good.
that'd be something you can't unsee.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, come on out, July 22nd.
Well, we'll be
2 to 5.
there.
1400 to 1700.
Okay, and it's 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock for people that don't know about.
That's when they're going to be
The
doing the
military.
drink specials and food specials. I mean, of course, you can hang out longer than that because I'm sure we'll be hanging out because my birthday's the next day. But yeah, 2 to 5 is when all the like shenanigans are going to be going on. Get
Okay.
your raffles. We have the raffle tickets are going to be basically it's $10 for the length of your one arm. If you want to do the length of 2 arms, it's $20. You go around, you put your little ticket in front
Man,
of what
I
you
need
God
to
that's
find
got
someone
long
with really
arms.
long arms.
Exactly. And it's just flat. And then you go around and put your ticket in the prizes that you want to win. And then towards the end of maybe about 4:45, I'll probably start shaking the tickets and
That's cool.
passing out the prizes.
I like that.
Nice. I
And we
do
also
too.
will have a little jar too of each branch of service for people to put money in. And then we'll also say which branch won at the end as well.
Well, probably the Marines, because
Well, depending because of the bike community, probably.
I don't know though. They might spend all their money at the bar.
Yeah, who knows?
Well, it's at a bar.
Who knows?
Yeah, so it should be fun, and then it's a learning experience too. I mean, like I said, this is our first like our girls hosting one.
Well, I'm
completely
glad
on
that it
us.
could be for roll call.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that's
I'm
exciting.
honored.
And that was just a whim. I was just gonna do just the meet and greet thing, and then I asked Bethany, and was like, well, "Do you guys accept donations?" And she said yes. I was like, "Whoop, this is what we're doing."
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
There'll be a lot of door prizes.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff.
And
so.
we are
Yeah.
accepting. I still have a few more days. If anybody has something they want to donate for the raffle, you can. I can let the guys know at the bar, Shotskis and Ice House, if you drop it off, because making the whole meet and greet thing might be difficult. But if you have something you want to donate, go ahead and bring it down to the bar and just say it's for the Beers and Betties event, and they'll put it in the back and call me, and I'll go down and get it and make sure it's safe. But if you have anything, we'll definitely take more donations for the raffles.
Very good.
We also have, I forgot to mention, we have a gentleman that I met through Bethany. He's a cartoonist. He's
In
going.
Melbourne or
he's-
George? We have 2 of them.
Yeah.
I
Melbourne.
apologize that I did not think of that. He's going to have a vending station on the patio at Ice House. He does
Oh, nice.
artwork of old cars and military pictures.
It's probably not George. I think George is still in
Yeah,
the hospital.
probably.
It might be Melbourne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Thank you for being here
Thank you
today.
for having me
It's
today.
exciting
Yeah.
to see this organization and
Just
we
in
want
its
to
infancy.
watch
we're
it
just
watch
a
it grow,
baby.
and
Yeah.
we're glad that
We
we're
wanna
glad that
help it
roll
grow.
call could be a part of it. So
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, definitely good connections.
and give us your contact information one more time.
So, Battling Betties of Texas.
Okay.
We are on Facebook at Battling Betties DFWTX, or you can email me at battlingbettysdfw@gmail.com.
And we'll put that information on the Hometown Heroes
Mm-hmm.
page too,
Beautiful.
so you can help your organization grow. So
That's
Perfect.
right.
And check out our national page, battlingbettys.org.
okay,
See all of our other states.
we're glad Bethany made the connection.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
She's made a lot of connections.
Hey,
I
it's
know.
for us
amazing
lately.
what beer can do to bring people together.
Yeah, for sure. Or I like
It is.
margaritas. I mean,
Yeah.
Whatever your poison,
whatever
baby.
it is. Right.
And for roll call this month, it's our off month. So
It
we
That
is.
is
don't-
how exactly how
It
we
is.
decided to do it. Bethany said you
Yeah.
guys did not have a meeting this month. I was like, well,
Right.
perfect.
yeah. So
I'll do one
Yeah.
we're looking forward to
without the
the
meeting part. Just
the 25th of August is the next meeting. So
25th.
or the next luncheon. So we'll have more information about that coming up.
Right?
We'll let you know beforehand when the reservations are open. If you haven't gone to roll-call.org, go there. You can sign up for the newsletter, and that's how you can get the contact information on when the meetings are and when the reservations are open.
Yeah. So if you're going to attend the luncheons, though, make sure to fill out the new attendee form and not the newsletter. If you fill out the newsletter, all you're going to get is the newsletter for the most part. I send a few other things, like deaths and that kind of thing. But fill out the new attendee application if you're going to come to a luncheon so that we gather all of your information, especially if you're a veteran, because that way we can make sure your name tag has all your information on it. And then you'll get to notice of when the system opens, and that will be toward the beginning, probably the first Monday, maybe second Monday of August, depending on whether or not the first is where the first falls. And that'll take care of that, and then we'll just keep rocking. Gonna have a great lunch.
Roll Call's a great
we
organization.
may have, so here's a little news story. Is we've been pushing out, several of the congressmen in the area, congresswomen, have been doing the Congressional Veterans Commendation. So they send that out, and then folks have a certain amount of time they can put in their paperwork. I know a few of the vets that go to roll call sent me back information and said, hey, I submitted my stuff for it and everything. So hopefully we'll have at least one of our vets get recognized.
Yeah.
But there's a fairly good shot Kay Granger may come and actually make that presentation herself
That's Larry's
At-
school teacher.
at the luncheon. So would that not be cool if we could get her there in August?
To have her
And,
present
to,
that.
to actually do a presentation, especially if we have a member or two or
Tell her
whatever.
I said hello.
I will.
I don't know how far that'll get you.
Yeah. What kind of student were you?
Well, we know
Did you get in a lot of trouble?
Yeah, it's not the student part, it's the life after.
After part. There was we had her for split lunch. The whole football team was in that deal, and so when we were still pretty, we were all right. We're good friends. I said, I never came back from lunch. None of us did. She said, I didn't either. And I said, but you passed us. She said, y'all played before, no pass, no play.
Yeah.
She said, yeah, y'all had a 30-minute or hour halftime, and then we went to lunch, and then we just never came. I never even went back to school after that because it was my last deal. I had that workers' ed deal or whatever that was.
Yeah.
So, no, she's cool.
Yeah.
She controls the purse strings of the largest budget in the world.
Yeah. Well, she's done a lot for this area
Sure.
in terms
Oh,
of
yeah.
the military and veteran community. So
We've had a lot of
we
good congressmen like
appreciate
that, like
that.
Jim Wright, they've
Oh,
done a
Jim Wright
lot
was-
for our military, our veterans, and, Lockheed, General Dynamics, so
yeah.
they're the
Yeah.
ones that control the purse strings that help our budget, so.
Yeah. Well, they definitely help employ a lot of folks in this area, and
Yes, they
and
do.
and help out organizations like ours. So we can't
I've
thank
heard
them
there's
enough.
a new contract, the Air Force or somebody, they're pitching right now. A new plane.
Oh, my.
I haven't heard.
They need to finish getting some 35s out.
Well,
Yeah,
they're getting plenty of them out. They come over our house all the time, don't they?
They need to get more out. But-
Before they,
well, the idea was that they were going to produce like one a week or something, one
does
a
the
day.
35 replace, what does it replace?
To replace the 16.
So do they decommission those, or do they?
They're
They'll
not
just-
producing
they'll move-
anymore. They quit producing the F-16 here, probably
yeah,
about a year ago.
they're still producing some in
them, I
South
think, in
Carolina,
South Carolina, yeah.
Greenville.
And there will be some, we still are going to have some wings that will be flying the 16s, but we won't be flying them out here. We'll be flying the 35s.
And they'll just move those to another wing or someplace, so.
Well, I know, they're pretty old.
Well,
And they've been
Listen, the
run through
maintainers,
mill.
the maintainers out here though have kept those birds running like nobody's business. It's amazing the work that they've been able to do. But some of them have worked on them for so long they can just listen to them and know what's wrong with them.
I studied that F-35. It can run circles around that 16.
oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
it's
still
just
I
so
still love the
advanced.
F-16.
And the F-22, they
Yeah.
just, that's a whole deal. The government just messed that up.
Yeah.
That was a great plane too, but they didn't make enough of them and they got
Right.
too expensive because they said, we want this many over this span of time. Then it was, we want this many over this span of time. Well, the cost goes up, so.
Yeah.
I was speaking in a reunion from 1958 for several high schools, and that was the narrative back then. Oh, this B-58 is going to be the best ever, and it kind of flopped, didn't it?
I
Well,
don't,
the
I don't even
B-58?
know anything about
Yeah,
the
the
B-58.
B-58 was a,
It was the fastest bomber
yeah,
built.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's how much it's in my awareness. I have no
Yeah.
idea.
That was when I was a little boy, so
Yeah.
it's,
But
Yeah.
they were, and some of these people that were. At
So
the
I was probably a
reunion
baby.
said It just didn't make it.
yeah,
Not all of them turn out to be good planes.
that's
for
right.
sure.
Roll call, we have our fundraiser coming up.
Uh-huh.
October the 15th at Defender Outdoors, and it's a clay shoot. We really need to start getting our teams. If you're a clay shooter and you want to have a team out there, you can go to roll-call.org, find information about that. If you're an individual that wants to sponsor a team of veterans, a team of military, team of first responders, or just a team, you can do that too. And then we're looking for sponsors. We need
Yep.
sponsors for the golf carts, sponsors for a lot of other things. So we're looking forward to having a good shoot out there.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Or if you are a veteran or active serving member of the military and you wish to participate but you just don't have the funds to do so, we have some folks that have purchased a team. So contact us through the info@roll-call.org and we can see if we can hook you up with somebody who's already paid for some folks to shoot.
Very
So
good.
that'll be pretty cool. But before we leave, I want to clear up some stuff about the Hazelwood Act. We talked about that last week with Mallory. So the Hazelwood Act is a Texas Veterans Education Assistance Program. One person at a time in a family can use it, and it's good for the military member, the veteran, the spouse, or in certain conditions, or dependent children. So you can pass it to your dependent children, but you cannot pass it to grandchildren. And I wanted to clear that up. And the children have to have not attained the age of 26 yet. So the way that I always told people, and you can use it, so if you happen to have GI Bill, post 9/11 GI Bill, but you don't have 100%, so that's some of our reservists and probably some of our guardsmen don't have 100% of that benefit. If you are a Texas veteran, and what do I mean by a Texas veteran? It means that you have a DD 214 that shows that you entered in the state of Texas, you exited in the state of Texas, and your home of record is in the state of Texas. So does that mean your initial enlistment has to be in the state of Texas? The answer is no. So for example, I enlisted in Chicago. My initial 214 when I left the Air Force shows that I entered in Chicago, I exited in Colorado, my home of record was Paris, Texas, because that's where I was moving to when I left active duty. When I came back in the reserve, I came in the state of Texas. I deployed in the state of Texas, so you'll get a 214 in the reserve if you serve in certain war areas, Iraq, Afghanistan, things like that, regardless of the length of the tour, or a 90-day or greater order anywhere, you'll get a DD 214. So most of the time, our reservists will try to get a 214 for those kind of things because they've moved to Texas. Now they want to get the Hazelwood benefit. So you get on a 90-day or greater order, you get that 214, it shows you entered and exited in the state of Texas, home of record is Texas. Now you have that. If you don't have 100% of the post 9/11 GI Bill, you need to talk to your VA rep and you can stack the benefits. So you can use them in conjunction. If you have 100% of post 9/11, you have to use that up before you or your dependents can use the Hazelwood. So there's some rules to the Hazelwood. You talk to the counselor, the VA counselor at the college, and they'll tell you what you need. But if you have that benefit and you've exhausted your post 9/11 or you never had it, send your kid to the college with the 214 to the VA counselor there, and they will help them do everything else. And it's 150 hours at a Texas public university. Can't be TCU, Baylor, SMU. Has to be a Texas public university. I always tell people, go to A&M, whoop. I have two Aggies, so I'm going to push Texas A&M. But a Texas public university, and they just simply don't charge the tuition and fees. There's not any housing allowance. There's not any books and supplies. None of the stuff you get with post 9/11. But it will cover, it will forgive the tuition and the fees for up to 150 hours. Only one child can use it at a time, only one person. So if the parent uses it for a while, then the child uses it, but only one at a time can use it. So hopefully that clears that up. That's what I did when I was in the Air Force. Before I became a first sergeant, I did education counseling. So I taught people how to go to school for free, and I checked into it, and the rules haven't changed. So the Hazelwood still acts exactly the same. So if you do have questions, you can contact somebody at the Texas Veterans Commission. You can contact the VA rep at the college. You can get a hold of me, and I'll fill you in, send you the information. However you need to do it, but don't let it go to waste. It's 150 hours.
That's a lot of hours.
Like,
That's a lot.
I wish I could give it to grandkids because I'm just finishing my post 9/11 GI Bill with 2 bachelor's degrees in December. And I got 150, well, not 150 because I did use some when I stacked them before I had 100%. But I'm still going to have a lot of hours, and I don't know that I can handle any more college.
And then you could use Dave's.
And he did transfer
So we
his to
could
me,
start
so I
calling
could
you
use
doc-
another 12 months.
Maybe one day, Dr. Mary.
No, I don't think I can handle any more college.
Well, thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah.
And thank you for being here,
Thank you.
Tricia.
Thanks for
It's a
having me.
Battling Betties, and we'll look forward to seeing you Saturday. Larry, thank you for hosting us down here. Classic Auto Detail down on Rogers Road. Also, the bike drive's going to start, or it's always going, but the bike drive for Christmas, start thinking about that. Start, the bikes start going pretty fast come December, so you might
Right.
want to start buying them in November if you're going to donate the bikes.
Yeah,
Our
mine sooner.
goal
There's
is-
already a couple here.
Yeah.
Our goal is 800 this year. I've
Yeah.
got probably 30 already.
That's good.
So time to start buying them now.
It's time to start buying them
Helmets is
now.
what the problem is, and we're ordering them from China, but it takes 2 months to get them here by boat.
Yeah, so
Order
buy a
early.
bike and a helmet.
Yep.
Yeah, but see, the helmets used to be at $5 and below $5. Well, they quit. We literally bought them out of every store in Fort Worth or Dallas, and they quit buying them. Don't have a clue. Walmart tells you they're $7.99, but that's a lie. They tell you every time, oh, well, we just sold the last 2. Anyway, but Walmart has stepped up this year. They're a corporate sponsor. They are going to provide us with these storage containers.
Oh, nice.
That'll be good.
So they're going to bring them, they're going to leave them. We're going to have the bikes, instead of me filling up all these warehouses, we're going to have them on the site at Farrington Field. And then after the drive, the next day, they'll come and pick them up. It's
Oh,
all
that's
free.
That's
nice.
good.
That's nice.
That's good.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
thank
this-
you,
this-
Walmart.
This was a good show today. We enjoy having you. Next week, we've got Bill McIntyre. He'll be the oldest, 103 years old,
Wow.
and he's going to be here. I talked to Lorna.
What branch?
He was in the
He's an Army Air Corps.
Army Air Corps, and what he did was he was in finance, and he took care of the death benefits. And so he was over in North Africa, and then did he go to Italy or Italy after that? But it was the deal where he saw all the guys that were dying, and he's trying to get that paperwork correct and done as quickly as possible with his staff, so as their relatives could start getting the benefits. So, that's a pretty important job.
Oh,
So
yeah.
he'll be here next week. I just want to give a shout out to Dusty and Tyler.
Yeah.
They stay way in the back now, and they're the ones that set all the equipment
Where
up
it's cool.
and do the show. And thank y'all for
You're
helping us.
awesome.
And we'll see y'all next week on Hometown Heroes.